Is this rolling? Okay. Something fails, I try my best.
Yeah. Definitely. All right, you ready?
I am ready.
All right. Hi, my name is Samantha, SAM831 on Instagram, and I'm interviewing El Kallpa, or G.
G.
You describe yourself as brains, lungs, structure, anti-harmonist, lyricist, barker, songwriter, subpar singer, eclectic arranger, drummer, percussionist, conga man, poor melodica player, and sensory tribe member.
Yeah, that encompasses some parts of me, I guess. If not
Just
all
a
of
few,
them.
a couple. Well, I'd ask you to describe yourself, but you've already done that.
A little bit.
A little bit, yeah, just a couple words. So I want to ask you, just to start off, what do you mean by anti-harmonist?
I guess there's a little bit of a pun there because I'm known in some circles as a little bit of a conflictive person, so it should be harmonious and
Yeah.
because I'm a little harsh sometimes. No, but what I meant there is like we have these beautiful harmonies with Sensory Tribe and Sean and now Righteous Sister, which is our new front lead female singer. Mm-hmm. They do such a great job when they're doing that. And I get lost when they tell me, "Can you stay like? You want to take the middle harmony?" I'm like, I don't know what that means. Like, I can try. I don't know if it's me just basically either giving up or recognizing that that's not my strength.
Yeah.
I can't. You know, if they can adjust their voices so beautifully, and I can't. So it's kind of me like accepting my limitations. While, you know, making fun of it a little bit, I guess.
In a way, it's kind of like empowering the fact that you can't harmonize.
I guess sometimes I hit it like without knowing, and they're like, "Oh, that was sounding good." I was like, "Oh, yeah." And when they say do it again, I'm like, "I don't know what I did." It's like, I don't know. You know, I think my style, the thing that I bring to the table is more of like the punch. That's why I use El Kallpa for my music project. It's the force. It's like the punch, the energy. And so when they ask me, "Hey, can you sound beautiful?" No, that's why we have other people that do.
Someone else does that. It's not my brand.
Exactly. I guess that's why I put that in there.
Do you feel like El Kallpa gives you a power as an artist? Like when you perform as that other part of yourself?
It's definitely an alter ego, 100%. And I kind of gave it to myself, but not really. Back in Miami, let's go with my history here. I've had many projects, and I always had the energy and the lyrics. You know, I wanted lyrics that surprised people and all of that. But I started like a reggae project with my brother in the bass and a friend in the guitar. And before we had a name, we were playing reggae, but also I was drumming like really hard, more like hip hop / hardcore kind of music. And people were like, "Man, you guys are like a reggae style, but with a punch, like with strength, like it's, you know, with slap." And I was like, "Man, well, what are we gonna call ourselves?" Because we were in reggae roots, was more of a fusion before musical fusion was a brand that now I use. So I was like, I wanna be like Rasta because we like the reggae and we have the rhythm, and then Kallpa means strength or force in Quechua, which is the language of the Incas. So I was like, so we called it the band Kallpa Rasta, you know. So it's like reggae but with strength, a little meaner. And then from then on, I was like, you know what? What I bring to the band is that strength, that energy, that barking, that loudness, that screaming. So I was like, I am El Kallpa, you know? So kind of use, you know, El for Spanish, Kallpa from Quechua. I'm from Peru. I was like, okay, from now on, I'm going to be El Kallpa.
I love that. It's a really great story. So I'm listening to your music. I've been listening all day long, and it's fantastic.
Thank you.
But obviously there's a very strong message of anti-establishment.
Yes, I guess.
So what is your message? And who are you talking to? Who's your audience?
I don't know.
No?
I don't know. I guess this dates back to like the rage that I had when I was a kid. Like my first, other than my dad having a very classical taste in music, like with rock and roll and stuff like that back in Peru in the 80s, 90s. I was always exposed to that and I liked it. But then me starting to like my own music, I was like 13 or 14 going to underground concerts, mostly punk, ska. Yeah. And at first, when I first went, I was like, the mosh pit is kind of, it's not my, what are they doing? Like, I didn't understand it. And then I started connecting with the lyrics, and then we started going to concerts every weekend, and that was my thing, the mosh pit, and then understanding the unspoken rules of the mosh pit, where you pick up people, like, you start learning all this stuff that if, you know, you bump into somebody really hard, it looks so violent, but if the two people know exactly what's going on, I mean, there's different things everywhere, right? But at least the people that I've met with that really understand the message, or the camaraderie of the mosh pit, is like a energy release, is like a therapy, almost unspoken therapy. Back in the 90s, no one was talking about therapy, at least in my tax bracket.
Right.
You know, it was not a thing. But you go to the mosh pit, you bump into people, it's all about shoulders, you're skanking in a circle, someone falls, you see people picking another one up. So I learned that. I started picking people up because I was a little bigger. So I was like, oh my God, this is really cool.
Yeah.
And so all the songs and everything was anti-police, establishment, anti-system. And that stuck with me, I guess, since then, like 30 years ago.
Yeah, it sounds like you're saying that there's a unity, right? Unification and a shared rage and experience. And I love that. It's a therapy. It's very
definitely,
cool.
that's how I took it, and that's how it worked for me when I was a kid, definitely. Yeah, I really like that. And then just seeing sometimes that when I first moved to the States, that sometimes the uniformity of everybody, like I like all types of music now, but it's because I have grown as a person, not only as an artist. But when I first came to the States from Peru, I did not like rap at all, because I came to Miami and there was too much rap. Like you had to like it.
Yeah.
And I hated that.
Yeah.
Because I came from the underground scene in Peru, and we were like, no pop music, no this, no dancing, which I have my conflicts because I love partying.
Yeah.
So, but I was intertwined with this, but the lyrics that always resonated with me, and the message was like, you know, you don't have to follow everybody. You don't have to do what everybody's doing. You don't have to do the same haircut. Yeah. You don't have to do the same clothing. Like until today, it's, you know, I try to find pieces of clothing that, you know, are unique, colorful, different. Sometimes I mess with them, you know, erase this, take this, you know, bastardize the brand in some way. Or mutate it. That's one thing that's just transform it to make it your own, kind of. Yeah.
That's so interesting. I feel like you're saying that the anti-establishment mentality is like so much of not only your music tastes, your message, but also your personal aesthetic as a person. Like you live, eat, breathe these concepts, and it doesn't always mean that it has to be, you know, fuck the system.
Right. It doesn't need to be necessarily throw a rock at a band.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Not necessarily. It could be just
how you live your life. You're like, I want to.
Yeah, and if I think more about it, I have a really good friend of mine. He was one of my best friends in high school, and he taught me that. Yeah. Because he was so anti everything. Yeah. He wanted to be so unique. Yeah. On his own way, that I think he planted a little seed on me. I remember him making up this story, because maybe I said it. I don't know. I'm old. I could be like, yeah, I did it.
Who knows?
Who knows exactly? Because he's a little bit of a liar too. Funchi, hey Funchi, I'm on to you. He lives in Germany now, and we're collaborating on some music, but he told me once, like, oh, when I first met you, you said you love Nirvana and that you wanted to live your life exactly like Kurt Cobain and you were going to kill yourself at 27. I'm like, I don't know if I said that, man. And then so he always made fun of me for that. He was so into his own thing that he didn't like music in English.
Okay.
We were in Peru. And I like a lot of music in English. He's like, that's bullshit. You need to listen to things from your roots. So I didn't agree with him 100%, but he was definitely influencing. So he was a big influence in my life. And then I had another friend who I also recognized that also influenced me, because he was this out-of-place guy, very strange, doing his own thing, always. Like, if everybody said, okay, this party, everybody needs to wear pants, he'll show up in shorts just to mess with people, just to be the different one. And he was at a social status where people couldn't fuck with him. You know, he had money and he had all these big presses, and he didn't care about things that I care, like, oh, I hope they like me, I hope, you know, I can date this girl or this. He didn't give a shit about anything. So I was, you know, again, silently again, I was like, man, I really appreciate this, although he's not telling me to do it, just by observing him and being so anti-system. If they say, oh, to fix your motorcycle, you need to go to this store to get this part, right? For example, he was like, no, he went to a different store and got a car part and make it work for his bike. I was like, why's your brain like that? Do the opposite of what people tell you, but I kind of like that. So those are that I can remember for now. Those are two people that when I was like between 12 and 15.
Yeah,
those people were in my life.
You had an education
yes.
of being a rebel.
Yeah, and not necessarily. We didn't even talk about it, but I was so exposed to it that I was like, I was like, okay, I like this.
Wow, that's fantastic. I love that.
It's crazy.
That is a great start. So you're from Peru.
Yep.
Your sound is very international.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to say, because I feel like you collaborate with people from all different walks of life.
Yeah.
All different parts of the world. Different languages.
Sometimes we're just like using Google Translate. I've had a few collaborations with Japanese artists.
Yeah.
There's a guy, let me see if I get this right. This was the first guy that I collaborated internationally. I think he's Australian, but he used to live in Austria, so make it complicated.
So very similar.
Right? And I'm like, are you Australian? He tried to explain to me.
Austrian.
Now he lives in Ireland.
Wow.
Okay, but he was the first guy who was like, just send me your vocals. Before I got savvy about recording, he was like, just send me your vocals. And we released 2 songs together, and one of those songs I put on my album as well with his permission, because he was the producer of all the sounds.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So you just did a collaboration.
Right. Yeah. Right now it's hot and pressed. There's a few songs coming out, but this one is, I think, kind of special with this French, very young trumpet player. Yeah.
So I wanted to ask
your
experience with digital collaboration. We're collaborating in the digital age.
Right. It's like, I don't even know this guy's voice. He knows mine.
You never heard his voice.
I never heard his voice, right? I love it. I love that. That's what I use social media for. To reach out, to throw myself out there and say, hey, if you like what you hear, hit me back. Let's do something together. I find it that if the people that you're collaborating with has some time of some kind of like follow through, things happen. Yeah. And it helps me finish projects. Yeah. Definitely. I love that's. I think other than meeting people and creating something out of nothing. Excuse me. Just the fact that I get to finish a song is very important. When I'm writing a song on my own, I did the beat, I do the drum line, I feel like I start doubting myself a little more. Is this something that I only like? This is only for me? Yeah. And when I collaborate with other people, it's like, okay, there's 2 people involved, and then I wanna do everything if they're communicative enough, they'll ask for, hey, do you do your part? And then I feel that little bit of pressure, not bad pressure, but good pressure, let's finish it. Yeah. So I don't want to be the bad guy in that relationship where I'm slacking. So I send everything I need to send, and they send it back, and it just works. It pushes me to finish the project.
There's accountability.
Accountability is the word I'm looking for.
Yeah,
yes.
Definitely.
Exactly.
I agree. I want to do my best work when I know my name's on the line.
Right? Yeah. It's just like, it pushes you. Just like I could do this self-interview, right? And just talk in front of the camera, but
this is great. I'm enjoying it.
And then there is that they're all a human factor, right? Yeah. That when you're by yourself, things maybe go exactly as you wanted them, and that's not always the best. No. You want a little bit of unknown. Yeah. A little bit of the messy plan.
Makes it interesting.
Yeah, and they hit the feedback.
Yeah. Okay, so music. As a musician, we can't, and honestly as an artist, we can't expect everything to be the masterpiece, to go viral, right? No. So what's your philosophy in terms of self-fulfillment versus engagement?
It definitely affects you. Like, whoever says it don't affect us because they already made it, and they're like, it's all great.
It's not important to them.
It's not my main drive, but definitely if you put out a song or something and it gets one little heart only, you're like, okay, so that didn't work or something. But truly, I'm a hoarder physically. Yeah. So I'm a digital hoarder as well. Yeah. So one thing that I always wanted to do since I started making music back in 2000 when I first moved to the States was like, I want history of no, it's not history, but something tangible that comes out of these experiences, which for me are now with music audio files. They're telling your story. Sometimes I hear back lyrics that I sang 10 years ago, and the person singing that was a different person. Exactly. So I like that. And then the more and more I learn about the quality of recording and just saving the sound a little better, there's definitely some songs where they're not deep, or I didn't go crazy on the lyrics. I was just looking for quick rhymes or something funny or something, you know. Always try to add my seasoning. But I think the part that I like the most is that you actually create something that someone else can be like, oh man, back in this year, it's some kind of like historic reference / you know, a product.
Like a memoir.
Yeah, like a memoir. Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Very
So
cool.
that's my main drive. Of course, it gets a lot better when people tell you, hey man, I heard this song and that was so cool.
Yeah.
Or like, this is just what I needed. Comments like that, which I get very few, but when I do, it's like, oh man, this is great.
Yeah.
You know, so if anyone can enjoy it, great.
Yeah.
And I love it, and I love the feedback, but it's just for me to express myself and to create a memoir, a history of what I've been through.
Yeah. So you're not just a musician. No, you're a husband.
Many things.
You're a father. So I want to ask, how does your music bleed into your life, and how does your life bleed into your music?
I think you can't separate them as much as I try to be. I'm going to be here El Kallpa. For a while, I had a different phase with El Kallpa, and it was more of, in my brain, a marketing technique of El Kallpa versus my personal life, which I don't try to do too much on, because my Instagram is for my music and my art, my video, my photography. But you can't just ignore the other part of you. So sometimes it bleeds in. With my kids, they see me playing instruments, they see me singing. Every time I'm in the car, I'm testing a new song because I record it here, I mix it with earphones, then I want to test it in the car to see how it sounds in the car speaker. So my kids are exposed to it all the time. Sometimes they're like jamming, sometimes they're like, boo, no, I don't like it. Yeah, or he'll ask for a specific song, and I'm like, no, but we already did that one. Like, it's done. And he's like,
I want to hear it.
I don't care. Like, I'm like, I need to test a new song, and he's just like, whatever. With my wife, she helps me a lot with lyrics. She's my sounding well with like, do you even say it this way in English? Like, does this make sense? You know, because English, I'm 100% ESL. English is my second language. My Spanish is my first language. I speak way better Spanish. So, and then even with some lyrics that are actually completely out. There's one of the best songs that we have, a Sensory Tribe. My wife is listed as one of the lyricists because she helped me with a few rhymes in there. Yeah.
I love that. That's really cool.
Yeah, so it's everywhere, back and forth, and it definitely bleeds through, like the way you put it.
So you told me about how you don't like wasting time. I know that's a big deal for you.
I'm horrible at chilling. I'm bad at chilling.
You're a dad. Tell me about the playground sessions.
The playground sessions, they started about maybe 3 months ago. With a little bit of doubts, a little bit of fear of, like I said, I love collaborations, but the downside of collaborations, you're depending on someone else too. So to play concerts and to play live, I'm always depending on another musician. I don't feel confident enough to, like, I can play a whole set by myself for many reasons. I have my self-doubts of how do I sound? Can I hold the guitar rhythm for that long? My fingers hurt. I'm not a natural guitar player, so I decided to push myself and try to learn it more. But I also didn't want to be like, leave me alone, I'm going to go in the studio, because I can't do, and I don't want to do that, truly. I want to hang out with my kids. So when I take them to the park, I pick a park that is fenced in. Because my little one, Marco, he'll just go.
He'll just run.
He'll just go. So and then I started bringing my guitar, and little by little I'm getting a little better. So what I do is I try to capture at least 1 minute of these sessions to post on social media to push me to learn more, to put out some content, and it's definitely helping. Yeah. It's definitely helping. It's keeping me a little more engaged with my music, and my kids sometimes they're singing with me and stuff, because in the past what I try to do to not waste time was trying to write lyrics, but then that's different. You know, you're too much in your phone, then you're like not looking at it. When I'm just walking around with the guitar and singing with them, so Playground Session was born like that. To not waste any time. I'm difficult to relax and chill. Or if I'm watching a movie, I'm paying attention, but for me it's like the chilling part. I always feel like, oh man, I'm not being productive. I'm not being productive, and I blame my mother for that. She's a machine. So.
Okay, so I remember hearing Sensory Tribe play at the 2021 West End Festival, and I was like, wow, first off, great band.
Thank you.
The best band that year. And also, like, you guys have a really big band. That's a lot of people.
A lot of people.
How do you bring that many people together and find a unified sound?
The story is crazy and it's kind of long, but when I left Miami back in 2012, I always had this notion or this dream of everybody sings, everybody writes, everybody plays an instrument. I wanted a band because I've been in many bands where I saw one guy was the lead, one guy was the boss, and the rest contributed and stuff, but sometimes there were some limitations. So I wanted, if I'm going to be the lead of a band, I want the band to have this freedom. If you have something to say, if you have some lyrics, if you want your voice heard, I don't need, because I'm not an amazing singer, you know, I'm not restricting other people from doing that. I believe anyone could sing. Not everybody can sing the same. Like, it's not like I want to sing like Justin Bieber. No, you can sing it like yourself. You know.
Yeah.
So, but if you have something to say, for me, the expression part, the lyrical, the message is a little more important than the sound, and that's why building the tribe that way helps, because other people have other influence. Like I say, the harmonies and the melodies and all these parts that I can't not achieve physically with my voice or you know, with my training, that I can't get there, other people can complement that. So I started with that idea, and then every time I've had a musical project, it succeeds or it does better when I'm hosting, when I have the space, because I don't know why. If I'm going to somebody else's space, I guess it's their music project, so it kind of, I don't know if it's a good thing, a bad thing, but I finally got a spot in Monterey where I could, in my living room, I started just inviting random people. My wife didn't love the idea. I put a Craigslist ad, and anyone I saw on the streets playing, I'll be like, hey, I'm a musician. If you email me, we can connect. So if they were a little serious and they took the time to email me, I started talking to them. I met people very differently in different ways. There was a co-worker when I used to work at the aquarium. She's one of the founding members of the tribe. But the main idea was just come to my house every Wednesday, starting at 6 p.m., and we're just going to jam. Bring your instrument, bring an open mind, bring ideas, you know, you can, and maybe 50 to 60 people filter in and out of those sessions, yes. And then this guy came along that I met through, I think Craigslist was the first reach out. He's no longer in the tribe. He's missed. But I have to attribute, there were some messy things that happened that I don't want to get into it. But he, for sure, I'll give him credit, to push to make it a band. I was like, I don't want to have a band because they're conflictive, then people have opinions. And I had the fear that if we start a band, then the jam is over. Yeah. Right? Because if we start a band and this is serious, so I kept threatening them. You know, it's like, if we have a band, we're gonna do it hardcore. Yeah. Or nothing. I wanted to do it good or not do it and just jam, you know? Yeah. So we started messing around with the name of it, and I think Nate, he sent me a bunch of combination of words because I wanted to have 2 words. And at first we thought vibes, something about vibes, and he sent me a list of like 8 names, and one of them was sensory vibes, and I was like, vibes. Then Sean, who is also in the band, told me, oh, I have friends that have a band name called Vibe something, and I was like, no, then it doesn't go. And then I was like, I like sensory though, because I wanted this to make the band like theatrical, like it was a whole experience, not just music, but you can see these crazy people and feel and all these feelings, everything. So I love the word sensory. And then I came up with that. We're a group, we're a tribe. We're a tribe. So some people take it as offensive because we're not tribal, but whatever. We're a tribe. We're a tribe. We're a group of people. So that's where Sensory Tribe was born, and we've had in and out about 12 members, and the current lineup is we're just starting. It's starting to sound really good. Yeah, and I'm really, really excited. Yeah.
So where can I see Sensory Tribe? Anytime soon? September, October?
Tomorrow.
I
don't know.
Well, but that's not relevant to our audience.
I'll post this clip today, just a little part. But Sensory Tribe, you can find them on Instagram at Sensory Tribe. We're also on Facebook. I think we have a Twitter too. So whatever you type Sensory Tribe, we're on Spotify and Apple Music too. We're releasing new music. Like I said, after the pandemic, it was a big hit for us. It took us a while to get back up to our feet, and we started this year with a couple of concerts. We played once in March in Santa Cruz. We played once in July, so very spread apart because we were still tailoring the sound. We recently added a trombone player. So the current lineup is founding members is Glenn Bell, bass, lyricist, composer, Shawnee McGill, Chauncey, he called himself. Guitarist, amazing singer and composer as well. So everybody has a voice, but we are the three that have the most lyrics because we've been together for this long. Yeah. Then on the drums, we recently hired Chris. He's an amazing drummer, and I can't wait to see what he has to offer a message. But he's learning our songs, so he's not creating too much on the lyrical aspect, but on the drums, he's killing it. And then we have Rebecca, which was a little bit later than founding members, but her saxophone is killer, jazzy, a lot of personality, always happy. I love Becca. Then we added Righteous Sister, Megan. She comes from Turlock, so it's a long drive for her.
Yeah.
Super powerful singer, amazing melodica player. I want to push her more to play more melodica and keys, and she can play the trumpet and all of these things, but she's still learning all lyrics, so it's a working process. And then the last addition has been Evelyn. She is from Gonzales and she plays trombone.
Very cool.
So I'm hiring one more lady for the horn.
Special lady.
I want to give the tribe balance. So right now it's 4 dudes, 3 girls. If we get one more addition, if there is a lady that can play guitar and sing a little bit and have something to say, please reach out. But that's the current lineup. We have, like I said, a big concert tomorrow at MPC. I don't know if I'm going to be able to. September 10th. This was recorded September 9th. I don't know if I'm going to edit all of this in one night. And then we have something coming up on October 1st. We're playing, and I think it's called Rustic. It's a wine place.
Okay.
And then hopefully we apply for the Greenfield Festival on October 17th or something around that area. Again, we post everything on our social media. So Instagram, Facebook, we're going to post in there. We're always shouting our dates. And yeah, give us a listen on Spotify if you like what you hear. We're releasing new music. We're working in 2 EPs that were recorded live. We're going to release that. We're working on videos. We got some photos. We're working on releasing some live performances once we get the sound tight.
Yeah.
Great. But yeah, please follow the tribe. Thank you for watching.
Thanks for watching. I'm SAM831 on Instagram.
SAM831. Follow SAM831. I did an interview of her. You can also find on my YouTube channel under El Kallpa. I am El Kallpa. That's my alter ego. I'm Gerardo Rodrigo Olivares Zúñiga, a.k.a. El Kallpa.
All right. That was awesome.
Thank you.
We'll figure it out.
And if we don't, we'll have to find another way.
We'll figure it out.
And if we don't, well, that's okay.
We'll figure it out.
And if we don't, we'll have to find another way.
We'll figure it out.
And if we fall,